Batman Forever. This the VHS from. Okay, it's from. Oh, I got it. We got it in 1995. All right. I wonder if this was like a Christmas gift or like, I don't know. Could have just bought it from a. I don't know if it did. Video stores sell movies too. I think so. Unless you had to go to Suncoast Video back then. Yeah, I don't know if they still have Suncoast Videos, but they're in the mall, like in the movie Take Me Home Tonight with Topher Grace. Oh, yeah. So I had this in the Val Kilmer Memorial section. Usually it would be in the Batman section, but Val Kilmer passed away this year. So it was with Ghost in the Darkness and Tombstone and the tribute to Val Kilmer that I had. I guess he died a few months ago. I guess it was 2 or 3 months ago. So, dun, dun. Batman Forever, 30th anniversary. Yeah, I was 15 when this came out, originally, 30 years ago. And in the year 1995, still in high school. And it was, big stupid fun, big stupid teenage fun. It was, the whole thing was crafted by Warner Brothers to be about consumption, and that kind of feeds into that not only feeds into people who are older in the 30s and 40s consumption, consumer culture, but I think especially teenagers are like, oh wow, consumer culture. They're kind of sucked into the whole machine, and so in a way that adults are too. They just want bigger and bigger toys. I guess at first kids like toys, and then when they're teenagers, they like movies and music and things that they can afford. And then when they get older, they want bigger toys and more exotic, complicated toys, I guess, like cars and houses and things, computers. And so for me being a teenager in 1995, this was a fantastic, consumeristic thing. And Batman was tied into every kind of thing. So they had a Batman Forever soundtrack. At Astroworld in Houston, Texas, they had a Batman the Escape ride, which was really awesome because they had a Batmobile and they had a penguin, it was almost as good as a Disney World or like not as good as Universal Studios, but it was a pretty good like setup, pretty good set, and so yeah, it wasn't as good as like Universal Studios Terminator 2 Battle Across Time or anything. It wasn't like some fucking amazing production, but it was a great roller coaster. Batman the Escape. It was a stand up roller coaster, and it had a loop on it. And I always had this fear that I would be stuck like upside down on the roller coaster, and just be stuck up there like standing upside down. Maybe that would be cool, but yeah, it was that was a very fun ride. So Batman: The Escape. So everything was commercialized with this film. I guess it's said that this is the movie that Warner Brothers always wanted. They always wanted a popcorn, consumeristic. They always wanted a campy, take the whole family kind of movie. They never wanted what Tim Burton was doing. This was directed by Joel Schumacher. It says produced by Tim Burton, but it's kind of obvious that his input was very little, if at all. They might have just put his name on here just to sell more tickets, give it some more authenticity. And but it said produced by Tim Burton and Peter McGregor Scott. Yeah, and then directed by Joel Schumacher. It's pretty much Joel Schumacher's baby, definitely. And the screenplay writers. It's not really a Tim Burton thing. Tim Burton was into psychological type stuff and complicated, complex emotions and character development and things that were quite frankly at odds with the commercialism of the 1980s and the 1990s. So it wouldn't sell toys to have a tortured protagonist and a deep fractured romance and psychopathic things going on all the time. So Batman 1989 was kind of like the compromise between the studio. It was the I think Batman 1989 was just the amount of commercialism that Warner Brothers wanted, and then they let Tim Burton kind of off his leash and be strange. And the way they compensated with the weirdness is that they let that at the end of Batman 1989, they let the Warner Brothers Studios demanded that there be a big, huge, set piece and fight scene at the end, duke it out, and they got pretty much what they wanted. Ninjas fighting Batman, pretty impressive, like martial arts battles going on at the end. I mean, I liked it when I was a kid, but the movie itself was a noir, and it was really bleak, and kind of left you felt. It almost made you feel dark and empty inside, even though as a kid wasn't really too much in touch with those emotions yet, and but yeah. So the thing about Batman 1989 is it had a balance. It gave the studio what they wanted: the big action set pieces, a lot of the violence. They got the toys. They got Jack Nicholson, the big names. Michael Keaton, they probably wanted somebody different than Michael Keaton. That was probably Tim Burton's genius to get Michael Keaton. Somebody who wasn't, just a square jaw, just a, alpha male, just like run-of-the-mill kind of dude. Actually, I think it would have been interesting if the trilogy had started off with Val Kilmer, young Val Kilmer. That would have, that probably would have made things, pretty smooth. Maybe I'd say that Michael Keaton is the best Batman. He plays it really good, even though maybe it's not him. Maybe it's not so believable him fighting so much, and But I guess if you put on a suit, you can kick anybody's ass. I guess, but anyhow, he doesn't seem to, fit, or he doesn't seem ridiculous. He doesn't seem jacked or muscular or like. I know there were some scenes with his shirt off and stuff. I'm sure he did some working out, but he just wasn't really, I don't think, physically for the part. But in terms of nailing Bruce Wayne and the psychological trauma of Bruce Wayne, yeah, he does that. And for the suit, they can get stunt doubles, and the suit itself. So it doesn't really. Those old suits look pretty flat, where Batman couldn't move around very well. So I guess a lot of the fight scenes almost. It almost feels like in the old in Batman in 1989 in Batman Returns that he's like almost fighting as stiff as RoboCop. So it's just not very fluid fight scenes, unfortunately. I think for Batman Forever they solved that problem though. They made the suits better and more flexible. So yeah. Well. Rest in peace, Val Kilmer, of course. Batman Returns was very, very, very dark. Psychological drama, romance, and it was extremely bleak. I think it's even bleaker than the first movie. So not exactly what Warner Brothers was looking for, and I don't think many people when they were a kid, when Batman Returns came out, that they wanted necessarily a Penguin toy. Even though I think the Triangle Circus Gang was pretty cool, but I got the Super Nintendo video game. I didn't. I don't. I think yeah. A lot of the toys were too weird. They were cool, the skeleton guys and shit, but it was definitely pretty bizarre. And they had a pretty awesome romance with the Catwoman. The Michelle Pfeiffer was great, and stuff. Danny DeVito was great as the disfigured penguin. It just wasn't exactly what the studio was looking for. They were looking for something so they could sell McDonald's, they could sell toys, they could sell shit, they could have the theme park ride, they could have the CD, they could sell the soundtrack, they could sell everything, the shirts, the merch, all the merchandise, and yeah, it's hard to sell the merchandise to the kids, I suppose, when the bad guys. Whether it's the Joker or the Penguin, when they're assassinating somebody in a psychopathic way, or characters in the film are psychopathically murdering everybody. It's just that's not the kind of movie necessarily that Warner Brothers wanted for the first and the second movie. So finally, they were able to get Tim Burton out of there. Pretty much, he's just producing in name only. And then Michael Keaton bows out. And his excuse was, I don't know if it was a scheduling issue or they weren't giving him, they were going to pay him any money to do it, and so I don't know. Maybe he was getting too old. I mean, I don't think he was too old back then, but he said, man, when he was asked by the press why didn't he do Batman Forever, he was like, the violence, there's just too much violence in these movies. And so, which is, I don't know. I mean, on one hand, I kind of, okay, so he's like, man, I'm sick of the violence. All right. And then in the first film, there's plenty of violence, machine gunning down people, stabbing people, sword fighting, ninja fighting, throwing dudes off fucking stairs, throwing people off buildings, all kinds of shit like that. And so, I mean, do I think Michael Keaton's a hypocrite for saying there's too much violence when he's complicit in the violence? Batman is going to do some violence, even in the campy old Batman from the 1960s. I mean, he still goes pow and he still punches people, and they have brawls in the series all the time. So I don't know, like, can Batman not be violent? I mean, he's supposed to hit people and hit bad guys. He's supposed to he's supposed to whoop some ass. So I don't know. I don't think you can have a non-violent Batman. So he's a vigilante crime fighter. He's not supposed to be a saint or a religious figure. He's not supposed to be a monk or something like that. Batman is not supposed to be a pacifist. That's for damn sure. So even though maybe I would think that Michael Keaton, it's noble that he would say, I want to move. He probably should have said something less hypocritical instead of, man, I can't handle the violence. There's too much violence. It might have been better if he would have said, you know what, I think I want to move on to more mature roles, and I want to move on from Batman. It probably would have worked out better. Made more sense. But anyways, that's 30 years ago. That's in the pipe past. But we're just doing the Batman Forever review because it's the 30th anniversary. So Batman Forever. Yeah, we'll get back to that. This is the back of the VHS, by the way. Yeah. So everybody saw the front one. Val Kilmer, Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey, Nicole Kidman, and Chris O'Donnell. Yeah. The best Batman yet. I don't know about all that. The Christopher Nolan films weren't out yet. So Val Kilmer replaced Michael Keaton, of course, in Batman Forever. Val Kilmer. He's a good placeholder for Michael Keaton. He's just he fills the role. He looks like Batman. Um, he looks like a star. And then, of course, they have Chris O'Donnell playing the kind of like cheesy, "I'm a kid" or "I'm an orphan, Daddy, help me" kind of thing. And so, a tragic story, kind of like Bruce Wayne. It's kind of the character of Robin in this is kind of a whiny, like, "Oh, I don't get to get the car, I don't get to get the toys." It's kind of annoying, and yeah. So this movie is not very good. Uh, you have Nicole Kidman as Chase Meridian, like having interesting, dark BSDM 50 Shades of Grey fantasies, sort of. Oh, I like a man in black. Ooh, I like the leather. And she's just kind of put there just to say sexy things and to look hot, and that's pretty much all she does. Yep, she just implies sexual innuendo and sexy things, and oh, I like a man in rubber. Ooh, and that's pretty much all she does. It's not, you know, it's just kind of playing on teenagers' desires. It's just sex and cars and money and shit. It's not. Batman Forever is not intellectually deep. It's intellectually cheap, and so for some reason they didn't bring back as Two Face Harvey did. They didn't bring back Billy D. Williams, so there's not really a sense of continuity here in terms of the character from Batman 1989. So don't know why they thought Tommy Lee Jones would be a great comic book character when he's just not really that. But he was cast, just like kind of, yeah. So there's a lot of flat performances. There's a lot of like, bogus casting choices. And then there's Jim Carrey doing Jim Carrey. So he plays the Riddler. He kind of saves the movie, kind of, if you like Jim Carrey. If you don't like Jim Carrey, then he's not going to carry the movie for you. For me, when I was 15 and I saw him just acting goofy and acting ridiculous, I thought, oh, yeah. I kind of like the Edward Nygma storyline, the Riddler storyline about the genius who's jealous of the alpha males kind of thing, and he's really intelligent and he wants to get revenge and becomes obsessed with riddles and questions, and I've always liked this the puzzler character, the Riddler character. He's always been one of my favorite Batman villains, and so this one, it gives him a backstory, and yeah, I don't know, it's kind of fun. The Riddler, the performance by Jim Carrey. So in the 1960s, the guy who played him was fun and kind of flamboyant as well. So it kind of fits, even though even Jim Carrey himself in the movie goes, "Was that over the top?" Because he does go quite overboard very often. But in terms of like the look and about his intellectual quest to become the most intelligent being, Homo sapien in the human history, I like his character development and trajectory a lot more than Chris O'Donnell's Robin, or Chase Meridian is just there for just eye candy, and then Val Kilmer is just the placeholder for Batman. Tommy Lee Jones, it's like, why is he Two-Face? Why did they fucking cast him as that? And Jim Carrey's kind of the only one that really saves the movie, makes it bearable, I think, and in a lot of ways, and makes the plot work better too. That he wants to get revenge on Bruce Wayne and Batman, and he wants to find out the identity of Batman, and then when he does, he wants to crush Bruce Wayne, and so yeah, he does save the movie, and there are some epic set pieces in the movie. It's loud, it's stupid, it's fun, it's great if you don't want to think about it too much. I like the plot of the box that the people hook into, And kind of like technology today. Um, technology like not just the Xbox itself, but like the internet, which is supposed to make people smarter. The information superhighway was supposed to make people a lot smarter, but it's really kind of a corporate and a government spying tool. And in Batman Forever, the box hooks into the consumer, and the consumer is zoned out and entertained, but all the while the mastermind is sucking out the brain waves and the information from the people's heads. And it kind of reminded me of today's technology, in which people want to be entertained, but at the cost of their privacy, or at the cost of at the cost of their privacy or personal information, personal data. So I think that was pretty outside the box. It was the idea of the box. Now I know we don't have a box that entertains us while sucking out our brain waves, but I like the whole metaphor of the idea. So that we're in the process of using the information superhighway or the internet or the process of being entertained, that we're really being spied upon, lied to, cheated, and our information and personal privacy and integrity is being stolen all the while by bad actors. I like that idea, that the things that people are consuming and wearing is really just a spying, something that takes more than it gives back. And like artificial intelligence, all the humans have conversations with AI by these clandestine, shady big tech corporations. But on the other hand, I don't really think that we're getting more information from the artificial intelligence by big tech. I think that the artificial intelligence is getting a whole shitload of information on us, way more than we're getting from it. So I think it's training up on us, which is kind of scary, because if you think about, if artificial intelligence trains on millions or billions of humans, and then it decides to attack us, then it's going to know all our weaknesses and all our vulnerabilities and everything. So that's actually very frightening. So I think, this movie is, maybe it's not looked at as a Orwellian or some sort of Brave New World kind of masterpiece, but really it does kind of have that element to it, which kind of saves it from just being a dumb, stupid Batman movie that's throwaway and forgettable. Another thing that's something that's memorable about, of course, the Batman Forever soundtrack, of course, is like one of the best commercial soundtracks I've ever heard, with tons of hits. In particular, there is Seal's "Kiss from a Rose on the Grey," which is a massive romantic song, massive huge hit, and then of course U2's "Hold Me, Kiss Me, Thrill Me, Kill Me," and that was fantastic jam. So, and in terms of the soundtrack, the movie might just be and I think it's entertaining, but it's it is entertaining in terms of the 1995 world. I don't know if it would be as entertaining for someone new if they were watching the movies in order, and and then they were like, okay, it's time for the third Batman, but they changed Michael Keaton to Val Kilmer, and now there's Robin and shit, and I think in 1995, when it came out on June 16th, 1995, it made perfect sense in the 1995 world what was going on. Warner Brothers wanted a more commercial movie They wanted to sell a lot of toys and merchandise and McDonald's stuff, and they didn't want a bunch of, like psychodrama and psychological romantic bullshit, and they didn't want a lot of psychopathic shit necessarily. They wanted just a standard, bad guy versus good guy, beat 'em up kind of thing with lots of explosions and just Hollywood action tropes. And they got that. They got exactly the kind of movie they wanted with a little bit more. Joel Schumacher was even more flamboyant, and he made stuff like bat butts and bat nipples and stuff. I know it gets really heavy in the movie that killed Batman for I don't know, killed Batman for what was it, like almost a decade. The movie Batman and Robin. I didn't even go see that in the theater, and that was before I even worked at the movie theaters. And I I heard it sucked ass, and I would not watch it. I still haven't watched the whole thing to this day because it just blew ass. And they changed Batman's again to the insufferable George Clooney, and so and that talking about Batman and Robin is a whole nother animal in and of itself, and I don't even feel like watching it. I don't even feel like reviewing it because I don't think I didn't feel it was worth seeing when I was 17, and I sure as hell am never going to make an effort to ever see it. Maybe just for shits and giggles or something, or maybe after lighting up a blunt, get high and laugh at it or something like that. But not seriously viewing it as something that really interests or entertains me. The Batman Forever soundtrack, yeah, and I think Jim Carrey's performance elevated the movie. If the soundtrack sucked, a lot of people wouldn't remember it as fondly. And if Jim Carrey's performance and the interesting box, big tech brain control subplot wasn't in there, yeah, I don't think this movie would have done as well or be remembered. So I think it's a solid, what is it? I'd say it's a solid 3-star movie. It's just serviceable, not great. I mean, Nicole Kidman is just in there for eye candy, which is fine, but it's just a generic. Yeah, I guess they do that in Batman a lot. They switch out the girl all the time, and I don't know. I guess yeah, switching out the girl all the time is like they did that in Karate Kid. Every single movie, the guy gets a different girl, and not that a man can't have a flourishing love life or anything with multiple women. That's definitely not illegal, but in terms of the continuity, it just kind of kills the continuity where it's like, oh hey, there's a new girl, and it's just kind of yeah. Oh look, remember that girl Jeannie from the last movie? Oh yeah, she's not there anymore. We got Rachel now, and then in the next movie we'll have Vivian and whatever. The next movie we'll have Jennifer, and so it kind of kills the continuity of a franchise, I think. But yeah, Batman Forever, it was exactly what 1995 ordered, and it was a fun fucking summer. That's for sure. The good old days, right? The happy times before the dark times, before the Empire. No, wait. Oh, that was Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? For Star Wars. Batman Forever. Is Batman Forever for real? Yeah, I guess Batman's 30 years later is still forever. The Batman 2 was, I think, is it totally canceled already? Matt Reeves, the Batman series. Yeah, my favorite's the Christopher Nolan series. But the original Batman film series, Well, there's Batman and Robin. Yeah. All right. I would say Batman 1989 through Batman Forever, 1989 through 1995. It's okay. Definitely Batman 1989 and Batman Returns, since it has Michael Keaton and a lot of the same actors, everything flows pretty well. So in terms of the continuity, I'm a continuity guy. That keeps me invested in a franchise is character continuity and you know story plot continuity. Uh, yeah, I saw the Batman. I started to fall asleep during it, and I don't like the emo Batman, the Robert Pattinson Batman. I don't like Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. I don't like I don't like a lot about the Batman. Yeah, I don't really like Colin Farrell as the Penguin. I don't really like uh, what's his name as Alfred. So yeah, just not a big fan of the Batman. I fell asleep. I don't know if I had COVID or what was going on, but I was just like, man, this is fucking boring. And then I tried to watch it again. I don't like Paul Dano. What was that? Like an incel nerd thing where he's trying to use the internet to get uh, the Riddler people to attack Gotham and get revenge for the lies and all that. I just thought, oh god, this is just shit. Yeah, I didn't like the Batman. It doesn't really have a high audience score or even critics score. I don't believe so. So I don't know if that's interfering with. There's not really enough of a critical and an audience reception to the Batman, and that might be causing trouble for the Batman becoming a franchise in and of itself. So I don't really like emo Batman. I honestly do not like Robert Pattinson, Patman. So if it goes away, then well, it goes away, and then they'll make another Batman. I wasn't really a fan of Batfleck either. I guess he has the classic alpha male square jaw and he's tall and all that, but the DCEU really didn't work out. So the Batmans lately have really not been working out. So the DC has been struggling. I guess it might be revitalized if this Superman is a hit this summer. But if it's a shit, if it's a dud, the Batman 2 might get further delayed. Which, as I've already said, I don't really care about Batman. I give a shit more about Batman than Batman. So. Batman Forever 30 years later. Oh, yeah. It's a solid entertainment. It's not too deep, except for the stuff about technology sucking out your brain waves. That was pretty profound, actually. But the rest of it is just, beat 'em up, explosions. Hey, look, it's Nicole Kidman. She's hot. Look at her. She's a hot chick. And then it's Chris O'Donnell saying, I want a car, I want to get some chicks. And that's it. Yeah. There's some really great set design, especially I think the Two-Face set design where he has like his light side has like a nice girl and then his dark side has like a ugly girl. I think that was pretty genius on the set design. So Jim Carrey's performance is awesome, entertaining, funny. Yeah. Batman Forever, indeed. Yeah. 30th anniversary.